Trump lawyer Alina Habba appears to have been thrown under the bus following a recent settlement between the former president's business and an ex-employee, claiming that she was sexually harassed by a supervisor. So this is an interesting story. Last week, Trump's golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, paid $82,500 to settle a lawsuit, alleging that it had silenced a sexually harassed waitress by tricking her into an unfair hush money deal. It's according to the ex-employee's lawyer. That hush money deal, and this is where Habba plays into it, is the result of Habba allegedly tricking the woman into taking a crappy deal. Now, the woman is named Alice Bianco, and this settlement that they got into could lead to Habba facing a lawsuit of her own from Bianco. Her attorney, Nancy Erica Smith, told the Daily Beast that she's considering filing a new lawsuit against Alina Habba, as the settlement with Bedminster notes that the parties agreed that Alina Habba is not a party to this release. Oops. Smith told the outlet, quote, "My client is certainly considering suing her for fraud." So what happened? So Bianco claims that she was betrayed by Habba, who had posed as a concerned friend, just giving legal advice at how to address this alleged sexual harassment by a supervisor. Bianco said that Habba had fraudulently induced her to quickly agree to unconscionable and illegal terms. For what purpose? To allegedly give Habba leverage to arrange a hush money deal that would curry favor with the former president and earn her way into Trump's inner circle. That, my friends, is cold. And if that was the intent, if that indeed happened the way that the lawyer is saying that it did, well, congratulations, it worked. Within a month of working on the August 2021 hush money deal, Habba quickly became Trump's leading lawyer, defending him from a sexual assault defamation case by former apprentice contestant Summer Zervos, replacing Trump's nationally renowned attorney on the case. That case was later dropped. Now, the new 4-page settlement, which Bianco signed on March 4th, contains the following terms. For one, she gets to keep the $15,000 in hush money payments that she received in 2021 for keeping quiet about a supervisor who repeatedly intimidated her and pressured her to sleep with him. Her attorney gets $82,000 for briefly litigating the case. The NDA is completely voided. The club does not admit that it committed fraud to induce her into a shady deal, meaning that they no longer could be held liable for that, which means it falls on Alina Habba, leaves her open to a lawsuit on that very issue. It looks like everybody wins except for Habba. In fact, Smith added that her legal team got, quote, everything we asked for. It's been a hell of a case. Now, Bianco, this is what Smith says about her. Quote, she has her voice back, which is why she came to me. She was illegally silenced, and now she can speak whenever she wants. So how good of a case does Bianco have? Pretty good. According to former federal prosecutor Niyama Ramani, speaking to Newsweek, Bianco may have a good case against Habba if Habba violated her duty of loyalty to a client, right? Habba would argue that the agreement and the NDA were in the best interests of her client, which doesn't seem to be the case here. Now, if she loses, Habba can face disciplinary proceedings if it's proven that she had a conflict of interest and did not act in her client's best interests, which would be a clear ethical violation and a state bar issue, Ramani said. Okay, well, how would you prove that she has a conflict of interest? They could look at the allegations that Habba encouraged Bianco to fire her lawyer while clearly working to protect Donald Trump's interests, to groom her to agree to a favorable settlement with Trump. According to the lawsuit, Habba allegedly poisoned Bianco's relationship with her attorney by sending her a disparaging post about him, leaving her with no legal representation, and then giving her advice. She then allegedly advised Bianco not to hire another lawyer because, quote, attorneys want to take control of you. What do you think you were doing? You were trying to take control of how she deals with the case in order to elevate yourself. All this, allegedly, of course, but She then, ultimately, Bianco did, agree to a $15,000 settlement under the conditions that she could never mention it to anyone and that the club would pay taxes on the settlement. However, Bianco later learned that Habba had not been entirely truthful about the club paying taxes on this. In fact, she ended up getting saddled with that bill. Furthermore, under the NDA terms, if Bianco were to speak about this alleged harassment, she would actually lose the money and end up having to pay $1,000 a day for violating it. Wow. Months later, when Bianco reached out to Habba asking about the taxes, Habba responded by telling her, "I can't technically give you legal advice." Oh, really? Oh, but you just gave her legal advice and you said lawyers want to control you. And getting her to fire her own lawyer, which she could have got a much, much better settlement out of it. And it gets better, or I should say worse. After a few more brief exchanges, Habba stopped communicating with Bianco. Wow. So you go from concerned friend to, I can't really give you advice, I mean, I gave you a bunch of legal advice before, but now that it's settled and I got what I wanted, and you didn't, I can't give you any legal advice, sorry. And then, finally, I'm just not going to take your calls. Block. Wow. And of course, Habba got everything that she wanted. She was able to get into Donald Trump's inner circle and represent him on some of the biggest cases that he has faced. So, yeah, this looks real bad. Real bad. Look, I do hope that this woman and her lawyer sues the hell out of Alina Habba. Not because I don't like her as a person, right? I don't know her. I don't know her personally, but it's because she allegedly screwed over a victim of sexual harassment in order to boost her own career. It's one of the grossest things that you could do to somebody. I tell you, no, get rid of your lawyer. Get rid of your lawyer. Don't do anything. Don't get a lawyer. I'm going to give you legal advice because I'm a lawyer. Don't get a lawyer. And then just sign whatever terrible agreement comes your way. Even though she was very clearly wronged by Bedminster, by the supervisor there. And whatever, she just allowed them to cover it up. Cover it up with these hush money payments. And, $15,000, barely a drop in the bucket for them. And they get to go on their merry way. Whereas she gets screwed over, especially on the tax portion. That's a lot of money. Getting $15,000 and having to pay tax on it, oof. And being promised, oh, no, don't worry, they're going to pay the tax on it. Oops. Oh, sorry, I lied. Oh, what's that? Can't take your call anymore. Sorry, can't give you any advice. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But something you could definitely expect from a person who is more than willing and happy to defend Donald Trump.